Josh Allen coming off an MVP season, but his season ended before he would have liked. Losing a tight game to the Chiefs in the AFC title game. Allen said that while the MVP award was a great honor, his resume still has a hole in it until he wins the ring. Adding, that is the only goal.
I look at him and I've thought about this. Let's say he doesn't win a ring. I think he will, and I think he'll win a couple. But then he'll be in that Jim Kelly, Dan Marino class. He'll still be a Hall of Famer, but you just won't talk about him as much. And I mean, if you ask quarterbacks today, in fact, I heard Brady talking about this a month ago, who had the best arm? He's like, Marino. And what I don't want, because Marino got a lot of attention when he played. He had Don Shula, it was Dan Marino. He was a star. He was on national commercials. Yeah. I don't think Josh is that interested in doing that stuff. He's the modern star. Like, he makes enough money he's just got married. He doesn't need to do a lot of commercials. I hope he doesn't, and I say this respectfully to Dan, I hope he doesn't become Dan Marino, because I do think there's an argument, including Elway, Marino, and Mahomes, he's the most physically gifted quarterback in the history of the league.
Well, think about it. We're coming off an era. Obviously, Brady surpasses Montana, but Peyton was winning. Peyton won multiple rings. Rodgers won a ring. Breeze, Roethlisberger, they're all champions. This era, Mahomes is the king. We know the two next best quarterbacks are Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson.
And Burrow. Burrow's close.
Yeah, these guys are winning MVPs. They're great players.
Yeah.
Who knows? I mean, what if Jared Goff wins a ring this year? What if Purdy gets one in a couple years? I mean, it's hard to get them now. These guys, one of these two guys, Josh Allen or Lamar Jackson, could go ringless and have a Marino-like career where we go, he's one of the greatest players I've ever seen, but he just couldn't get it done.
Yeah, and I also think Josh and Lamar both, and I'm guessing here because players' careers last longer, I would say Josh and Lamar have probably 4 more prime years, and then 3 to 4 after that where they just don't want to get hit as much.
Yeah.
But you are getting to a point with Josh now. He's expensive. There are limitations on the roster. You got about 4 more prime years, and then it gets trickier because you're not going to be paying him less because you're not going to there's no other Josh Allen on the market. He could play till 45 if he wanted to. He won't, but he could. So these years are important.
And Josh, unlike Lamar, has played well against the Chiefs in these playoff games, right? The defense just didn't make a play. The coach screwed up. They've been right there. I'm with you. I believe that Josh Allen will get a Super Bowl ring before it's all said and done.
Yeah.
It would be an absolute tragedy if he didn't, because he is literally one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. And it's so funny because I still see this narrative pushed all the time. Josh Allen can't get it done. He's not clutch enough. And it's like, guys, Warren Sharp's analysis, the most clutch quarterbacks when you got to have it, trailing in the last 5 minutes since 2020. Joe Burrow, number 1. Josh Allen, number 2. Lamar Jackson, number 3. Tom Brady, number 4. Patrick Mahomes, number 5. And again, if you want to look at the playoffs, I went through this article before, and it's worth going over again because this is not about Josh Allen failing. Not even close. The Bills have a playoff problem, but it's not Josh Allen. And this is an awesome article. I really, really highly suggest you guys check it out. In the last 5 seasons, only 2 teams have exceeded 55 regular season wins, the Chiefs and the Bills. Despite the Chiefs and Bills both leading in the NFL in total wins, the last 5 seasons in each making the playoff of all 5 seasons, the Bills lag behind in playoff success. In the playoffs, the Chiefs have 4 conference championships and 2 Super Bowls. Meanwhile, the Bills have 0 conference championships and 0 Super Bowls. It's not so simple to suggest the Bills are great in the regular season and bad in the playoffs. In fact, the playoffs over the last 5 years, the Bills have 12 games played, second most in the NFL, 7 wins, second most in the NFL. Beyond that, they actually have a winning record in the NFL, 12 games, 7 wins, 5 losses. There are only 6 other teams with a winning record in the playoffs for the last 5 seasons. All of them have at least 1 conference championship victory and Super Bowl appearance to show for it. The Chiefs, the Rams, the Eagles, the Bucks, the Bengals, and the 49ers, but not the Bills. And so you're going to be like, well, it's got to be Josh Allen, right? Nope. You cannot blame Josh Allen's overall performances as the reason they cannot seem to accomplish their goals of making it to and winning the Super Bowl. If you look at the 24 quarterbacks with at least 50 playoff pass attempts since 2020, Josh Allen is the number 1 most efficient quarterback in the playoffs. Number 1 in EPA per play, number 1 in success rate. We know how badly turnovers affect games, particularly in the postseason. This hasn't been an issue for Josh Allen. He has the #1 touchdown to interception ratio in the postseason over the last 5 years. And he actually has the best touchdown to interception ratio in playoff history. He has thrown 25 playoff touchdowns to only 4 interceptions. In their 5 playoff losses, the Bills have averaged 24.6 points per game, which not only is above the scoring average in the playoffs for all teams, 24.5, but is substantially above the scoring average for teams that lose playoff games, 18.8. That's really key. That's incredibly key. That he's scoring more points in losses than the average team that loses by a wide margin, by a touchdown. That's massive. Okay, 3 points in football, 2 points is everything. That's why these spreads are always like 2.5, 3. It means everything. Everything. And he's leading this offense by a touchdown. In fact, the Bills averaged 24.6 points per game scored in the playoff losses over the last 5 years. This is the #1 most of any NFL team with at least 3 playoff losses. Opponents scored an average of 33.2 points in Buffalo's 5 playoff losses over that span. It's hard to pin those defeats on Allen. In those 5 losses, he's averaged a plus .14 EPA play and a 51.2% success rate. Where do those stats rank among quarterbacks in playoff losses over the last 5 years? #1 in EPA per play, #1 in success rate. In those losses, he's thrown 9 touchdowns and just 2 interceptions. Allen has also added 3 rushing touchdowns, tied for the most in playoff losses. His 2.4 total touchdowns per game ranked #2 best among playoff losing quarterbacks, and his 0.4 interceptions per game ranked #3 best. Avoiding sacks, he also ranks the 5th best. But who is their Achilles heel? People will say Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. Here's where it really gets interesting. Let's compare Josh Allen's performance in his playoff losses 5 to Patrick Mahomes in his losses over the last 5 years. Josh Allen of 18 quarterbacks, #1 EPA per play, #2 EPA per dropback. Patrick Mahomes, 15, 18. So when Patrick Mahomes loses, he's not playing too good. When Josh Allen loses, he's still playing elite. You see the difference? Just look at the Super Bowl with Patrick Mahomes against the Philadelphia Eagles and how poorly he played and how much of a disaster that game was. That's not how Josh Allen's losing these games. Even in the playoffs, Allen has delivered more efficient performances than any other quarterback. In playoff losses, Allen has been the best quarterback. Patrick Mahomes has been the worst. In his 5 playoff losses, Allen has a 9-2 touchdown interception ratio. In his 3 playoff losses, Mahomes has a 6-6 touchdown to interception ratio. And make no mistake about it, some of that is cooked because of the Super Bowl stats from in the this most recent Super Bowl, where we know 2 of those touchdowns are bootleg. They should be 4-6 touchdown to interception ratio. Josh Allen of 18 quarterbacks, #3 in touchdown to interception rate, #5 in sack rate, #2 in sack to interception. Patrick Mahomes, 10, 14, 15. Allen has also scored 293 rushing yards, has recorded 293 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns in those games. His 59 rushing yards per game is over double Mahomes' 26 yards per game. And Mahomes does not have a rushing touchdown. This is what I talked about before, how the Bills constantly ask Josh Allen to do so much more than the quarterback who everyone says is king in Patrick Mahomes. And it's just ridiculous. It really is. The best statistical quarterback in the postseason over the last 5 years across all games, wins or losses. And yet, the only statistic that matters for the Bills is 0. I mean, it really is wild when you think about what Josh Allen has done for this Buffalo Bills team and how it's just not enough. And yet we want to put it on Josh Allen. And it's just like, again, look no further than how the AFC Championship game pretty much ended with that drop pass. I mean, like, and people say, well, it was Josh Allen's fault. He didn't pick up the protection. And it's like, guys, what do we do? What are we saying here? It's just like it's like such an absurd take, and yet he still finds a way to make a beautiful pass that just gets dropped. And then his defense can't then stop Patrick Mahomes to give him at least the ball back. And I unpacked all those takes when it all happened, and highlighted Drew Brees, bringing the fire, talking about, so many of these game-winning drives and stops were with Mahomes and the Chiefs were either the Chiefs made a great play and then got him the ball back, or Mahomes wins, puts up points, and then the defense is then able to stop, right? Like it's always still a team effort, even in some of these dramatic moments that the Bills just can't seem to do when it matters most. And it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see, and it would be tragic to have someone as great as Josh Allen just be like, oh yeah, he was amazing, but he never won a Super Bowl, and even Super Bowl winners pretty much just fade away eventually. I mean, it is. People really, I talk about this a lot. No one's really talking about Peyton Manning on a regular basis when we're having these discussions. We're just not. We're not talking about Brett Favre. We're not talking about people still talk about Tom Brady, but it's really only in relation to Mahomes because of trying to chase the GOAT. But outside of that, like, people aren't really talking about Tom Brady. I mean, how many times are you watching a show where they bring up Tom Brady's stats and completion percentage, whatever it is, and compare it to like Mahomes, Lamar, like, it just doesn't happen. So like, even Super Bowl winners, even all-time greats, they kind of still just ultimately fade away. And it's a good thing about the NFL. They don't live in the past. It's definitely a good thing. And it's something that Colin has talked about. But Josh Allen could actually be considered the greatest quarterback of all time. But he's got to win Super Bowls. And he's not the problem. Even in this video, I know people are going to comment, he's not clutch enough. It was his fault. He missed a throw and this and that. And it's just like, sure. But it's like, at this point, it's like, whatever you say. It's like, whatever you say. I'm going to make this into a separate video. But this is always fascinating to me. You can make the argument that in 2020, that was Josh Allen's best year. Threw for his most yards, threw for his most touchdowns, low interceptions, 37-10, 107 rating, QBR if you really care about that, highest completion percentage. And you know what's really interesting about that? Is when he had Brian Daboll, his best OC, and this is what's really interesting to me. Okay, the year before, in 2019, Josh Allen had 330 pass attempts in a clean pocket. And so that's going to be a combination because of the O-line and because of the coaching staff and putting their quarterback in a position, to succeed in a clean pocket. Various passing concepts, the play calling, play design, whatever the official plan of attack is, however you want to formally, define it in any given moment. And you'll see then it spikes up over the next couple of years, where it reaches 452. Now, again, when you're a great quarterback and you're given a clean pocket, it's like, we expect you to pick everyone apart. And he does. Spectacularly. But then what happens? Even with a better O-line. In 2024, his pass attempts in a clean pocket plummet by 100. Down to 347. And someone like Patrick Mahomes, who people say he's got the worst O-line, Patrick Mahomes has 424 attempts in a clean pocket. That's the power of Andy Reid. That's the power of Andy Reid. That's what Andy does. Setting up Mahomes with more structured passing concepts and, quicker release throws. And Patrick Mahomes's passing attempts only trend higher and higher and higher as the years go on. Whereas someone like Josh Allen's go lower and lower and lower. And so you're literally making it more difficult for your quarterback. Now, again, to be a great quarterback, you got to be great under pressure and in a clean pocket, right? But it's just like, when you give this guy a clean pocket, when you actually help him and support him, we know what he's capable of doing. We can see it. And it's just, it's frustrating. If it's not the offense failing him, it's the defense. If it's not the defense or the offense, it's the coaching staff. It's just, it's always something. It's always something. But those are just my thoughts. I'd absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Josh Allen? The importance of winning a ring and why the Buffalo Bills have failed to do so. Let me know in the comments below. I read every single comment. It's whether you agree with me or disagree with me. Either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here and absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much. See you next time.